Hello and welcome to this video. So in this video we are going to take a look at JavaScript if statements. So the JavaScript if statement is used to execute a block of code if a specified condition is true. Else, if the condition is false, then another block of code can be executed. So again, the JavaScript if statement is made up of an if block, an else if block, and then an else block. Now the if block is compulsory while the else if and the else blocks are optional, and their usage would depend on what a programmer wants to achieve in a program. So with all this said, let's head over to our code editor and see how the if statement works. Okay guys, so as always I have my Google Chrome browser opened on the left hand side, and on the right hand side I have my VS Code editor. So we are basically going to create a function. So we are going to have a function which is going to have the name of, let's say, test num. Now this function is going to expect a parameter. So let's call the parameter parameter1. And let's now have our opening and closing curly brackets. So inside this function we are going to have an if statement which is basically going to take whatever parameter we pass to the function and be able to tell us in the console whether the parameter we passed to the function is either a positive number, a negative number, or otherwise. So we are going to say if parameter1 is, let's say, greater than 0, then the code inside the if block is what is going to be executed. So we are going to say console, not confirm, so console dot log, and we are simply going to log parameter1 plus this string of text. So we are going to say space is a positive number. So let's end this with a semicolon, and we are simply going to have another block of code. So we're going to have the else if block. So else if let's say parameter1 is equal to, say, 0, then the code inside the else if block is going to be executed. So we are going to say console dot log, and we are simply going to log parameter1 plus this string of text here. So we are going to say is not allowed. Now let's end it with a semicolon, and then we are basically going to have our last block of code, which is the else block. So else, we are just simply going to have a console dot log, and we are simply going to log parameter1 plus this string of text. So we are going to say is a negative number. Let's end it with a semicolon, and we'll save all this. So let me see if I can explain what I've just done. So we have gone ahead and created a function called num1. The function will all the time expect us to pass a parameter to it, and we have given the parameter a name of parameter1. So anytime we call the function and pass a parameter to it, the parameter is simply going to be checked using the if statement. So first of all, the parameter is going to be checked against 0. So if the parameter we pass to the function is greater than 0, then the code inside the if block will be executed. Else, if the parameter we pass to the function is equal to 0, then we'll have the code in the else if block executed. Now if the parameter that we pass to the function is not greater than 0 and it is not also equal to 0, then it is simply going to skip the if block and the else if block and simply go and run whatever code we have inside our else block. So if the parameter we pass to our function is not greater than 0 and it is not also equal to 0, then it means that that particular parameter is less than 0, and any number that is less than 0 is a negative number. So now if we save this again, we can see nothing happens in our console because we have created a function, we have the if statement in the function, but we have not called our function. So let's go down here, and we are simply going to call our function using the name of the function. So we are going to say test num, and we are going to open and close a parenthesis, and we are going to pass any number at all that we want as a parameter. But before that, let's end it with a semicolon. So we are going to have a semicolon here. Now I'm going to pass 3, and when we save this, you can see that our console is telling us that 3 is a positive number, which is true. Again, let's go with say 0, and we're going to save this, and you see our program says that 0 is not allowed. What about if we try say -4, and we save this? You can see that -4 is a negative number. So anytime we call our function, whatever parameter we pass is simply going to be passed to the if statement, and the if statement is simply going to check whether the parameter is greater than 0. Now, if the parameter is greater than 0, then it means that that particular number is a positive number. So the code in the if block is simply going to be executed, which will simply pick whatever parameter we passed, and it is going to concatenate it with the string of text we have here, over here, and that is what is going to be logged inside the console. But if the parameter we pass to the function is exactly equal to 0, then whatever code we have in our else if block is going to be executed. Now, we have just decided to say that if the parameter that is passed to the function is 0, we should just say 0 is not allowed in the program. Now, if the parameter is not greater than 0 and it is not also equal to 0, it means that that particular parameter is less than 0, and any number that is less than 0, of course, is a negative number. So when the condition in the if block is not met, and also the condition in the else if block is not met, then our program will simply execute whatever code that is inside the else block. So I guess you have learned a thing or two from this video, and I want to say that if you enjoy these videos that I create, do click on the subscribe button, and if you have any questions at all about this video, I urge you to leave it in the comment section below. Bye for now, and I'll see you in the next video.